Senate is about Nigeria and Nigerians.
Welcome to Inside the Senate. I am Aisha Muhammad Ahmed, your anchor. As the Senate prepares to resume for plenary on the 26th of September 2023, Inside the Senate will continue with our review series of activities in the Senate before it embarked on recess. Tonight, we shall review some more motions deliberated upon by the 10th Senate. Additionally, this episode features an interview with Senator Plang Diket Satso, representing the Plateau Central Senatorial District. Senator Plang Diket Satso will discuss various topics, including the 10th Senate initiatives to stimulate economic growth and combat insecurity in the country. Details of these and more when the program resumes after the break. Please stay tuned.
The agenda of a lawmaker wants to make law
to ensure peace and security of this country.
My main aim is to do the core mandate.
Representation that will bring a lot of improvement.
Thanks for staying tuned. The 10th Senate in the period under review deliberated on motions addressing various issues including incomplete projects, building collapse, insecurity, environmental hazards, and a lot more happenings that hinder the development of Nigeria and Nigerians. In this episode of Inside the Senate, we shall commence by revisiting some of those motions that were discussed by the Senate prior to its recess. Stay tuned for further details.
The Nigerian Meteorological Agency.
Among motions considered by the Senate was a motion by Senator Benga Daniel from Ogun East Senatorial District and Senator Umar Sadiq Suleiman from Kwara North Senatorial District on the urgent need to intervene in the flooding issues in Shagamu, Ijebu areas of Ogun East Senatorial District, Ogun State, Edu and Pategi areas of Kwara North Senatorial District of Kwara State, and other parts of the country.
The state should please be aware that several communities in Ogun and Kwara State, particularly Owa and Yemule riverbanks in Ijebu-Ode, Eruru in Shagamu, and Ebute Mobi in Ijebu North, in Ijebu East, all in Ogun East Senatorial District with Edu and Patigi local government area in Kwara North Central Senatorial District will experience the first flash floods due to heavy rainfall between July and November 2023.
I know that
Co-sponsor of the motion, Senator Umar Sadiq Suleiman, and others made their contributions to the motion.
our approach to this normally is always to scratch the problem on the surface, which we do palliatives, we give them mattresses, give them food stuff. But Mr. President, what our people go through as a result of flooding is better imagined.
When Cameroon discharges its dam year in, year out, Taraba, Adamawa, Benue, and Nasarawa states, and beyond, including Kogi, suffer tremendously.
It's more urgent in the FCT because this is the capital. There's a lot of flooding. Estates are being covered up to the roofs. Trade more. A few days ago, 115 people were affected. Last week, 2 or 3 people died in the trade more. The airport road gets covered when there's flooding.
The sponsors prayed the Senate to constitute an ad hoc committee to liaise with the relevant ministries, departments, and agencies to put in place erosion prevention and management mechanisms, urge relevant ministries, departments, and agencies to release funds for dredging of blocked canals and water bodies, among others. Also urge the Federal Ministry of Water Resources to revisit the proposed construction of Dasin Hausa Dam and any other dams as the case may be to take in flood waters from Lagdo Dam in Cameroon, and further urge the National Emergency Management Agency NEMA to send relief materials to the affected victims in Shagamu, Ijebu areas of Ogun East Senatorial District of Ogun State, Edu and Pategi local government area of Kwara State, and other parts of the country.
The renovation works ought to be completed and
Another motion considered by the Senate was on the urgent need to investigate the various turnaround maintenance projects of Nigerian refineries in order to uncover waste and forestall further waste of scarce public resources, sponsored by Senator Sunday Steve Karimi from Kogi West Senatorial District.
Between 2010 to date, available and verifiable facts shows that over 11 trillion naira, excluding other costs in other currencies, which include $592 million, 975 and 0.50, 4,877,068 euros, and 3,455,656.93 pounds have been spent on renovation of refineries, yet they are unproductive.
Prayers for the motion were for the Senate to set up another committee to investigate all contracts awarded for the rehabilitation of all the state-owned refineries between 2010 and 2023, conduct an oversight visit to all state-owned refineries to ascertain progress on the ongoing works in order to forestall waste and corruption, and to interrogate the Federal Ministry of Petroleum Resources, NUPRC, NNPC Limited, BPE on the best approach to commercializing and or ensuring profitability of the state-owned refineries, and invite the NNPC Limited, NUPRC, and LNG to explain the nation's preparation for green energy sources in line with the Paris Agreement on climate change. Senate Majority Leader Senator Michael Okpeyemi Bamidele rose up to move a counter motion, proposing the motion be stepped down until committees of the Senate have been constituted.
We cannot possibly set up ad hoc committee on every matter, every issue that comes before plenary. And in further view of the fact that in a couple of weeks, a matter of 2 or 3 weeks, we'll have a standing committees. I would rather that we step down this motion if it is acceptable to our colleagues, so that by the time we have our standing committees, this issue can be revisited, and this will be one of the issues that the relevant committees will have to hit the ground running with. And then we'll have a minister in charge of steel, minister in charge of environment, and same for standing committees. I so move, sir.
His motion was adopted, and the Senate then resolved to step down the motion until relevant Senate committees are constituted and ministers appointed.
Those in support that will step it down can say aye, and those against it can say nay. So the motion is hereby stepped down.
Another motion which the Senate considered but delayed further action until a standing committee can investigate is the one moved by Senator Chinwuba Ndubeze Patrick from Imo East Senatorial District. It was on the need to investigate the controversial huge expenditure on premium motor spirit (PMS) under the subsidy and under recovery regime of the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited (NNPCL). The sponsor expressed concern that between 2006 and 2015, NNPCL claimed about 170 billion naira as under recovery, while between 2018 and 2019, it again claimed a whopping 843.121 billion naira also as under recovery. These figures, he said, contradict those published by the Petroleum Products Pricing Regulatory Agency (PPPRA) in its website within the same period. He spoke further on the issue.
NNPCL's arbitrary and unsupervised direct deductions from the country's crude oil revenue without recourse to any enabling law contravenes Section 89, 1C and 1D of the 1999 Constitution as amended, and does not speak well of the good intentions of the federal government, especially in the fight against corruption.
He also expressed concern over the appropriation by the federal government of 1.42 trillion naira for subsidy in 2021, 4.3 trillion naira for 2022, and 3.6 trillion naira for 6 months ending June 2023. The motion was supported in the contributions that followed.
Take our mind back to some of the problems that gave rise to what we are suffering today is what is known as turnaround maintenance. I don't know how that vocabulary of turnaround maintenance started, because that is where our problem started.
There is need for the government being responsible and responsive to the yearnings and sufferings of Nigerians to come up with ways and means of giving succor and cushioning the effect of the fuel subsidy withdrawal on Nigerians.
Accordingly, the Senate resolved to refer the motion to a substantive committee for more legislative action.
That was a summary of some of the motions considered by the 10th Senate before embarking on its ongoing recess. Next is the notebook segment. Do stay tuned.
The legislative chamber is a revered hall used by parliamentarians across the world to enact laws, deliberate on issues and problems of constituents with a view to profiling solutions. It is a stage where legislative deliberations and actions are taken by the representatives of the people to address the yearnings and aspirations of the citizenry. Legislators are protected from prosecution on account of remarks made in the chamber.
You're still watching Inside the Senate. As I mentioned earlier, our crew had the opportunity to interact with Senator Plang Diket Satso, representing Plateau Central Senatorial District in the 10th Senate. During our conversation in Abuja, Senator Plang discussed efforts of the 10th Senate in promoting economic growth and addressing security challenges within the nation. He begins by speaking on how the relationship between the 10th Senate and the executive should be for the benefit of the entire nation.
I believe that the 10th Senate is quite aware of the importance of the other arms of government, the judiciary and then the executive, and also the legislative arm of government. I am very certain that our coming together, even in the formation of the leadership of the nation of the 10th Senate, we are convinced that we need to function cordially, statutorily, for the benefit of the entire country.
Also speaking on the current situation of the country as a result of fuel subsidy removal, Senator Plang believes it is an opportunity for the nation to face the challenges with innovative solutions.
The 10th Senate has in one of its committees the Committee on Local Content. And the Committee on Local Content is to try as much as possible to maximize human capital resources. What can Nigerians offer? Can Nigerians be trained in such a way that we can man our oil industry? Can Nigerians be trained in such a way that Nigerians on their own can handle projects, infrastructural projects that will meet the world standards?
On the 4th of July 2023, Senator Diket Plang during plenary moved a motion for the Senate to call on the federal government to address the general insecurity and incessant attacks in Plateau State. He speaks more on the intent of the motion.
In the 10th Senate, we don't have party, we think Nigeria. One of our prayers is the service chief should pay an on-the-spot visit to where the crises are. The Chief Minister of Defense, the Chief of Defense Staff, sent the Chief of Army Staff. The IG were around, acting IG were around, addressed the people, addressed the security personnel, and asked for cooperation and decisive action.
Senator Diket Plang has also sponsored a bill to repeal the law establishing the Nigerian Institute of Mining and Geosciences in Jos, the Plateau State capital. He speaks on the bill.
Nigerian Institute of Mining and Geosciences in Jos is the highest institute established by the federal government in terms of mining. It offers training for staff of the Ministry of Solid Mineral and all other interested personnel from outside who would want to increase their knowledge in the area of mining. That that school was established by the colonial masters. It was School of Mines in Jos. And the colonial masters established that school with a desire to have a place where some locals will be trained to assist the expatriate miners in mineral exploitation. Now, it was a twin school established by the colonial masters. They established one in Jos and another one during the colonial era in Ghana called Ghana School of Mine Takwa. Now,
according to Senator Plang, the School of Mines in Takwa, Ghana, has long been transformed into Ghana University of Mining and Technology, a development that Nigeria can emulate.
You know, in Ghana, although there was mining in Nigeria, but Ghana has gone into even underground mining. We've not done underground mining in Nigeria. Ours is just pit hole. People will be not underground mining. Now, in terms of mineralogy, Nigeria is one, well, we have sparse land, and I tell you, we are blessed with over 40 different type of very important minerals. That's the one we know. If this is where we are blessed, we need to deepen our knowledge in the world God has given to us. We don't have to stay around and see Chinese, see foreigners going around to dig and exploit, and we don't know what they're digging. I believe just as Nigerians, almost every family were farmers, I desire that mineral and mineral science should be like a second profession in Nigeria. Why? Because this is where God has blessed us, and we cannot attain this if we do not have a specific university dedicated for the exploration, exploitation, mining, processing, and then marketing of minerals. We need to have that.
In the just constituted Senate committees, Senator Diket Plang was appointed to serve as Chairman, Senate Committee on Employment, Labor and Productivity, Vice Chairman, Senate Committee on Intergovernmental Affairs, as well as member in other committees of the Senate. He speaks on his mandate and that of the committee he will be chairing.
As the Chairman of the Senate Committee on Employment, Labor and Productivity, my jurisdiction are very clear. I have a supervisory role and oversight function on the Ministry of Labor and Productivity. I also have a role of ensuring that budgeting and appropriation of funds are done to those ministries and MDAs in the committee. You all know the issue of labor. My job is very specific. How employments are done. Are they done rightly? Are they advertised? Advertisement, is it properly advertised? The procedure of conducting interview from applications applied, was it done right? And then the issue of promotion, welfare, social compensation of the workforce is what I should be concerned about. Not just in government, even with private companies.
Like every other legislator, Senator Plang has a legislative agenda which he shares with us.
As a Senator of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, my prayer and my wish is that I should be able to come up with laws, with bills and motions that have direct bearing on the life of Nigeria and Nigerians on every local and national issue.
Those were key takeaways from our conversation with Senator Diket Plang, who serves as the senator representing the Plateau Central Senatorial District in the 10th Senate. Up next on the program is our profile segment. Please continue watching as we introduce our featured Senator of the Week.
Senator Abdulaziz Musa Yar'Adua was born on 4th August 1964 in Katsina State to the family of then Minister for Lagos Affairs, Musa Yar'Adua. He had his primary education at the Musa Yar'Adua Quranic Model Primary School, Katsina, from 1970 to 1976, and his secondary education in the Nigerian Military School, Zaria, from 1976 to 1981. He then attended the College of Advanced Studies, Zaria, from 1981 to 1984, where he received a bachelor's degree in physics, and then the Ahmadu Bello University, Zaria, where he received a bachelor's degree in science and technology in 1987. He then proceeded to the Rochester Institute of Technology, Henrietta, New York in 1991. Where he bagged a master's degree in electrical engineering in 1993. Senator Abdulaziz Yar'Adua is a younger brother to former President of Nigeria, Umaru Musa Yar'Adua, and the former Chief of Staff, Supreme Headquarters, General Shehu Musa Yar'Adua. Senator Abdulaziz Yar'Adua started his military career as a soldier after graduating from the Nigeria Military School in 1981. He rose to the rank of Lance Corporal. He was granted Short Service Combatant Commission to the rank of Second Lieutenant on 22nd September 1990. He later converted to Regular Combatant Commission on 16th March 1998. Senator Yar'Adua served in the Nigerian Army Signals Corps. He attended several civil and military courses, seminars, and workshops. He also held several military appointments, ranging from staff, instruction to command positions. His last appointment was as Assistant Director of Records, Army Headquarters, Abuja. He retired from service as a Lieutenant Colonel on 30th September 2010 after 29 years of military service. Senator Abdulaziz Yar'Adua ventured into politics in 2010. He joined the Congress for Progressive Change, CPC, a political party formed in 2009 by former Nigerian President Muhammadu Buhari in preparation for the 2011 elections. After a successful merger between his party and other political parties to form the All Progressives Congress, APC, in February 2013, he registered and became a member of the APC in Katsina State in 2014. He contested the party primaries for the Katsina State gubernatorial seat in 2015 but lost to former House Speaker, Right Honorable Aminu Bello Masari. On 29 May 2022, Yar'Adua won the APC primary election for the Katsina Central Senatorial District. On 27 February 2023, he was elected Senator for the Katsina Central Senatorial District in the 2023 Nigerian Senate election.
This brings us to the end of this week's edition of Inside the Senate. Join us again for another edition, and don't forget to communicate your questions and opinion via any of our feedback channels. See you next time, and thanks for watching.